The soul of the great bell. Around 500 years ago, a celestial, august son of heaven, Yongle of Ming Dynasty, deemed to have a bell of great size in the middle of the capital to be heard by the whole city of Peking. And thus, he called Ko-Ngai.
Ko-Ngai, you must build an immense bell to be heard for more than 100 light. Its voice must be strengthened with brass and deepened with gold, sweetened with silver, and the face and lips of it should be engraved with sayings from a sacred book.
Understood, Your Majesty.
And so, the worthy official Ko-Ngai gathered the master molders, renowned bellsmiths, and all men great in foundry work.
We must treat the materials carefully and skillfully, for its sound will paint the whole city of Peking.
And then they worked day and night without rest to pleasure the Son of Heaven. When they casted the bell from the mold, only disappointment can be felt.
Our efforts yielded nothing. You must try again.
It was a mess. The metals rebelled against each other. The silver refused to mix with the molten iron, while the gold rejected the brass. The mighty Yongle heard of this and was dissatisfied but remained silent. The time came to cast the bell from the mold for the second time.
How can this be? We did everything carefully and planned. How did it come out worse than before?
Ko-Ngai was reaching his breaking point. The metals remained stubborn, refusing to combine with one another. The bell was full of cracks and slits. It was fragile. The tiring labor had to be done once again for the third time. Ko-Ngai was met with a letter written on colored soft silk that was sealed with a seal of the dragon. It was no stranger for him to receive one, knowing he disappointed the Son of Heaven.
Twice had you betrayed my trust. For the third time it shall fulfill my orders.
Or else thy head will be severed from thy neck. Trample and obey.
Ko-Ngai had a beautiful daughter with a heart more beautiful than her face. Her love for her father led her to reject hundreds of suitors. But alas, this news led her restless and worried for her father.
I hope these gems will be enough to pay for an astrologer. I don't want to lose my father.
Ko-Ngai hastily went to an astrologer, desperate to know how to save her father.
I am begging you. What should I do to be able to save my father?
I must first observe the heavens and examine the signs of the zodiac.
Between the astrologer and Ko-Ngai, only silence could be heard for a long time, until finally the astrologer broke his silence.
Gold and brass will never meet in wedlock. Silver and iron will never increase until the flesh of a maiden will be melted with the crucible, until the blood of a virgin be mixed with the metals in their fusion.
Realizing what the astrologer meant, Ko-Ngai headed back home with a sorrowful and heavy heart, keeping what she had done a secret. During the time of their third trial, Ko-Ngai and her lady-in-waiting, Akatal, looked over the platform to see the molders and lava of metal. The workmen were silent. Only the muttering of the fires could be heard. The blood-red lake of metal brightening turned into a vermilion of sunrise with a radiant glow of gold which then slowly whitened like the silver face of a full moon. The workers had their eyes fixed on Ko-Ngai, waiting for his signal after they stopped feeding metal to the flames. Before Ko-Ngai could even lift his finger, a cry was heard, causing him to turn his head. A cry of a familiar voice, Ko-Ngai, her voice ever so sweet.
This is for your sake, father.
Ko-Ngai, you shouldn't do this.
The furnace of a white flood of metal roared in flames as it received her. The flames spattered, whirling a fountain of a rainbow of fire.
You mustn't do this, sir. We can't save her anymore.
The workers held Ko-Ngai back as he tried to leap after her until he had fainted away. The serving woman of Ko-Ngai held onto a petite shoe belonging to her master, a sign of her valueless effort to save her. Alas, despite the loss, the plan of the bell has to go through. The metal was pure, having no signs of a body. It was perfectly blended, giving the bell a perfect form. The sound of the bell was to go for more than 100 lai, uttering a maiden's name, Ko-Ngai. Each stroke made created a long, low ending sound of a weeping woman's murmur. It is believed that these are the sounds of Ko-Ngai